Thank you. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. The text renders itself to roughly blocks of 10 verses, 10, 12, sometimes 13, but generally renders itself to a block of 10, 12 verses, which talks about one particular theme. And the theme that we are currently on, which ends, I think, on verse 32 or 33, I forget. The theme that we are currently on is comparing the Jnani's life through various metaphors that are found in the natural world. So we saw how the Jnani is the swan. The latest metaphor was this: is the Paramahamsa, the swan, which discriminates between the milk and the water and takes in only the milk and leaves the water, even though the two may be mixed up. And so, this kind of a mythical bird. And then, how the same thing the Jnani does discriminates between the useless things, such as the Nama Rupa and other finite objects, and then connects with the infinite Atma, the knowledge of the infinite as oneself. So we have seen many other things. The Jnani conquering the jumping mind, like that of a frolicking deer, and all these things we have seen. There are a couple others, one or two other such metaphors. And after that, this section we will wrap up. The next set of it's a slightly longer section, and that section talks about the life of the Jnani, everyday life, what they eat, how they eat, what they do, where they sleep, how they sleep, all these things. And then that will also be very enjoyable, because the avadhuta that is being talked about here is an endangered, if not an extinct species. So there may be many, many, many swamis, meaning the renunciants all over India, and maybe in other parts of the world also. And but the avadhuta that is described here is a very, 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 very rare occurrence, extremely rare occurrence. And there are reasons why, and we'll go through the reasons a little later. So, but for now, the lifestyle of the avadhuta becomes a very interesting. It becomes a very interesting topic of inquiry, because it is so rare to find somebody living like how he says the avadhuta lives. So, with these words and without further ado, let us look at the. Let me share the text, and let us start where we stopped. Yeah, verse number. Uh, yes, this is the one. Verse number 31. निखिलागम पल्लविते निगम शिरस्तंत्र शीतलोद्याने मधुर मधुरतर मंजुवाचः पूजन्नास्ते यतीन्द्र कलकंठः निखिल आगम पल्लविते निखिल आगम पल्लविते निगम शिरस्तंत्र शीतलोद्याने. So, Nigama means Veda. Nigama Shira means Vedanta. The head of the Veda is Vedanta. The whole Veda is for the sake of Vedanta, which comes at the end. So it should be the tail of Veda. Why is it called the head? Is the Nigama doing a Shirashasana? Is it doing a headstand? No. Then why is that which comes at the end? Why is it not called the tail? Why is it called the head? Because that is the most important part. All right. If Vedanta is the most important part of the Vedas, then why does it come at the end? It comes at the end precisely because if it were there in the beginning, nobody would understand it. So the preparatory portion is the Karma Kanda, where the mind and the heart are prepared for this knowledge. And then the most important one is the most important thing is served in the form of the knowledge of the Upanishads. You are free and whole. It's just like if you go to a formal dinner, the main course is not served first, right? Or even let's say the dessert is not served first. Main course is not served first. First there'll be some drink and then appetizer, some juice will be there and some appetizer will be there. Then after that the main course comes. So even though Upanishad is the main course and the first portion of the Veda is the appetizer, without the appetizer, without eating the appetizer, the main course will not make sense. So without the first indulging in the first portion of the Veda, and which gives the preparation, this doesn't make sense. So Nigama Shiraha means Vedanta. Nigama Shiras Tantra means depending upon the Upanishad. So depending upon the Upanishads, what is there? A pool garden, Shitala Udhyana. Shitala Udhyana. Udhyana is like a meadow, a garden. So, in this cool garden of the Upanishads, which is the head of the Veda, and which has where the Nikhila Agama Pallavita. Pallavita means populated by the plants, the foliage of the entire Veda. The entire Veda is the foliage, and the main piece here in the garden, the main wonderful portion of the garden is the Upanishad, and in this Upanishad garden, with the foliage of the entire Vedas, what is happening? There is a bird that is cooing, warbling, singing, however you want to say it. And what kind of a bird is it? Don't look at the translation, because it says swan. Swans don't sing. They're not they're not known for their voice. They're known for their looks. I admit that, but they're not known for their voice. It should be either a nightingale or a cuckoo bird. Any bird that sings we can take. And so that bird is the Yatindra. Yatindra means the here there is a bindu missing, Yatindra. It should be the nakara is missing here. So here Yatindra Kalakantha. So the Yatindra means the king among the ascetics. So the king among the greatest of the ascetics is the cooing, warbling nightingale, singing what? Madhuratara Manjuvachaha, with the sweetest words and with a lovely voice. What does it do? Pujan Aste. Pujan means cooing. It's a onomatopoeic onomatopoeic dhatu, because it sounds exactly as it sounds exactly as how it is written. So Pujan Aste. And we see this in that famous verse also by Kalidasa, Pujantam Rama Rameti, similar kind of a thing. Madhuram Madhuraksharam, Aruhya Kavita Shakham, Valmiki, this is the Valmiki Kokilam, like that. Kokila, this is the same thing. Having climbed on the poetry tree, this the the bird is singing. Mm, this Valmiki in the form of the cuckoo is singing Rama, Rama, like this. There is another verse which might have borrowed from this one. It's reminiscent of that. And so Pujan Aste remains warbling what sweet words of the Upanishad. In the Upanishad garden, surrounded by the foliage of the Vedas and Madhuratara Manju Vachaha. Manju means sweet, very nice, sweet words, beautiful words, lovely words. The Yati is speaking. So the Yati is, does that mean the Yati is musical? That's not the idea. Musical means it is harmonious. So the speech of the Yati is measured and harmonious. And what is the Yati doing? Teaching. So here verses, just to sum up the verses from all these different kinds of metaphors. Uh, the sky of consciousness, the sun and the moon. So it's for quite some time we have had this. So let's see, 23 maybe. No, 24. Let's see. Yes, so from 23 onwards, from 23 to 31, we have the how the yogi interacts with the world. How does the yogi interact with the world? That is the subject matter of this discussion. All these verses. So till 31, I think. Where are we? We are on 31. Yes. And no, till 32. And from 33, another topic comes. So till 32nd verse, we have this whole group of verses talking about the engagement of the jnani with the world. How do they come across? How do they stand out? How do they present themselves? And how are they unique among everybody? And how do they teach all these things? And how do they help the universe, help all the people in the universe cross samsara? All this is talked about. And this is a very beautiful section. And the last verse of this section goes like this. Darita moha madebha दूरीकृत सकल दुरित शार्दूल विबुद्धोत्तम सिंहव विहरत्यानंद वितत कांतारे विहरति आनंद वितत कांतारे आनंद वितत कांतारे विहरति roams around where in the forest which is a spread out form of this ananda, swananda, one's own ananda. So this yogi, the yogi roams around, and who is this yogi? Vibuddha uttama simhavaraha. So the yogi is now likened to the king of the jungle. The king of the jungle in the form of this wonderful lion, which roams around freely because it's unafraid or insecure of anything at all. Because everybody bows down to it, and it is this is the now we have many versions of this film called Lion King. This is Lion King 1. Okay, yeah, this is the original Lion King. We've had many versions of it, but now this is the original Lion King. Who is the original Lion King? The original Lion King is nothing but this yogi. This yogi, this ascetic, this great enlightened person is the yogi, and this yogi lays in the forest. What is the forest made up of? It's just made up of acreage of Ananda. The yogi's own Ananda is this forest. Kantara means kind of a wooded area, forest, like this. So, Vitata Kantare Viharati, Ananda Kantare. So in the forest of Ananda, the Lion King in the form of the yogi is roaming around fearlessly. But it was a close call. Why was it a close call? Because before he became the king of the forest, he had to vanquish two competitors. So, two competitors, one was delusion, and the other one was the pride, and delusion, and moha and mada. And moha means delusion. Delusion is a prasada of Atma Ajnanam. So delusion means Atma Ajnanam. Because of self-ignorance alone, there is delusion. Why else will there be delusion? The self-ignorance alone brings about the delusion. So that had to be conquered. Meaning, self-ignorance had to be conquered. And then the Mada, the pride, also had to be overcome. And why? Because, as they say, the pride always comes before a fall. And when there is pride, there is no place for the knowledge, because the person has become a know it all. And if I already know, why Guru? What is there to know? Nothing to know. I can myself say, I know everything, I know, I know, I know. I know Sanskritam, I know this, I know that, I know what enlightenment is like because I have studied Atmavidyavilasa. Like this one can go. I have read it, not even studied it, read it. Like that, people can go. But then that denies one the ability to roam freely in the forest of Ananda, unassailed by any inimical creatures. That is the idea. That's why the Lion King, and that's why I said this is the original plot of the Lion King, from which they have made all these movies, I suppose. But here, this is the original story of the Lion King. All those others are not the real story. This is the real story. The Lion King is the Yati, the ascetic. And so then these two, delusion and then pride, arrogance, have to be vanquished. How is that done? Dharita moha mada. So Dharita means torn asunder. The one who has torn asunder the moha and the mada, delusion and pride, in the form of ibha. Ibha means elephant. Elephant has many synonyms. The word elephant has many synonyms. Hasti, Gaja, all these things are there. And here, Ibha. Ibha. So look carefully there. Mada, Ibha. Madebha. Madebha. And since it is followed by a soft consonant, it is become Madebho. So Madebha. So this Ibha, this elephant, which is in the form of Moha, so we take it Kramena respectively, the elephant is vanquished, torn asunder. And elephant, why is it moha? Because the elephant is not generally associated with moha. But since the moha is big, the elephant is also big. That is why the elephant is chosen. The moha is huge. The delusion is huge. There is no such thing as I am just a little bit deluded. If you are deluded, you are entirely deluded. And so the entirety of the delusion to depict the elephant has been chosen. It's not that in the Vedanta Shastra or in the Sanskrit poetry there is any kind of a connection between the elephant and delusion. It is not there. In fact, the elephant represents everything auspicious. But here, the delusion is so huge. It weighs a ton, and it can even block off the sunlight if it is standing in front of it in the sun. So therefore, it casts a huge shadow, and that's why the elephant is chosen for depicting what delusion. Delusion from one's own nature, ignorance of one's own nature that leads to wrong understanding of oneself, others, the Jagat, and Ishvara. This is what delusion is. It covers many topics and it is huge, so therefore it is unendingly colossal like an elephant. Then, next one, Duri Krita Sakala Durita Shardulaha. Duri Krita means having driven away for good. Usually, you see, because the poet is very faithful to animal behavior. The big cats generally don't kill each other. They are territorial, but they will drive one another off their territory. So the lion has driven out this Shardula. What is this Shardula? It was already talked about as it is, Mada, pride. That's why it gets annoyed, it gets angry, and it pounces and jumps, and it's dangerous. But then it is Durita. Durita means also the Shardula, the tiger of bad karma. Durita means bad karma. That's why before the puja, there is a sankalpa, and in the sankalpa, one says, Mamopatta Durita Kshayadvara Shri Parameshwara Prityartham Aham Idam Karishye. So all the karmas, mama upatta. So the earned by me, all the karmas which are there, in order to neutralize them, I am doing this ritual, I am doing this puja. So that is durita. So the Shardula in the form of bad karma, which is also in the form of what is that, mada, pride, etc., is the one that has been driven away from the forest. And now that the inimical things are gone, there is no need for the Lion King to be afraid. The Lion King is all knowledge. Vibuddha Uttama Simhavaraha. It is the king of the forest, and it is lording over the entire forest. And of course, the forest is this inner realm of Chit, etc., as we have seen before. So in that forest of Ananda, Chidananda forest, in the Chidananda forest, Viharati, the person sports and plays in the forest without any inimical issues there at all. So now, just to show that the elephant is not the baddie here, another verse is talked about. I think it is to redeem the elephant from being the villain. So let us look at 33. अज्ञानम् अज्ञानमृगवरः उज्झितविज्ञानोत्तुङ्गशृङ्गशिखि शिखरितले मतिसलिलशीतलाङ्गः यतिमद कमलो कमल यतिमदकलभो विराजते विहरन्. Read that again. अज्ञानमृगवरः उज्झितविज्ञानोत्तुङ्गशृङ्गशिखरितले शीतलाङ्गः यतिमदकलभो विराजते विहरन्. Another synonymous word for elephant, kalabha. Kalabha, elephant. So Yati Madakalabha means like a very, what should I say, confident and a kind of the powerful elephant here. Mada here doesn't mean pride. We should not take it as pride. It is a powerful, self-confident elephant. So, who is the ascetic? The ascetic is likened, the ascetic who is enlightened is likened to this powerful elephant. And what does it do? It has Ajnana Mrigavara Ujjita. So, Ujjita means decimated, killed, and driven away. No more in that place, driven away completely. What is driven away? Mrigavara. Mriga here is not deer. Mriga also means some beast. Having driven away the beast. And what is the beast here? Ajnanam. What kind of ajnanam? What kind is there other than Atma ajnanam? So, having driven away the beast of delusion, or rather the beast of self ignorance, and then Vijnana Tunga Shringa Shikhari Tale, and then on top of the peak of enlightenment, which has been made free of the beast of ignorance, self ignorance. So the elephant in the form of the yati roams around, virajate, shines and roams around. And what is this yati? Mati salila shitalangaha, the one whose body and mind are like cool water. Nothing fiery about the yati. Cool as water is the body, meaning not agitated or restless. Cool as water is the mind. And then this yati elephant, yati kalabha, what does the yati elephant do? Virajate viharan, shines as it moves about. Where does it move around? Vijnana, Vijnana Uttunga Shringa Shikharitale. So it moves around on the peaks, on the mountain range of knowledge, of enlightenment. Moves around on the mountain range of enlightenment, on the peaks of the mountain range of enlightenment. This yati moves around, having vanquished and driven away what? The beasts of delusion and sorrow, fear, etc. And what are they? What are they? They're caused by self-ignorance. Having driven away the beasts of self-ignorance, the yati moves around freely on the top of the mountain range. That is the idea. Now, from the 34th verse onwards, it takes a turn. It goes to the second topic which I discussed earlier. How does the yati live? How does the ascetic live? How does this mendicant of knowledge live in the day to day? What do they do? Where do they stay? Etc. etc. Let us chant this one. नासाञ्चलनिहिताक्षः नामादिभ्यो निवर्तितस्वान्तः तटनीतटेषु तत्त्वं ध्यायन्नास्ते यतिः कोऽपि नासाञ्चल nihitakshaha means the one whose eyes are fixed to the tip of the nose, means it is a meditative posture. So the yati is the one whose eyes are fixed to the tip of the nose. So the eyes have come close, the eyeballs, and they are fixed at the tip of the nose, getting ready to meditate or in meditation. And then नामादिभ्यः निवर्तितः स्वान्तः. Namadibhyaha means from Nivartitaha means the one who has reverted, come back. Come back from what? Namadibhyaha. From the obsession with addiction to names and forms. Nama and Adi means name, form, and color, etc. All these things. Or the three dimensions which we say, space, time, and object, all these things. So name, form, etc. This nama rupa, and from there, from the obsession with objects, the swantaha has turned towards the subject, to oneself. The focus is no longer on what are they doing, what is this person doing, how could they do this, how could they tell me this, why did they do this, why did they not do this. That is not the focus. So namadibhyaha nivartitaha has come back. Come back where? To oneself. Oh, but then if I come back to myself, it is even worse because I have so many problems, and then I feel all the regret, the guilt, the hurt, and all these things. That's not the idea. Because The yati means this kind of a yati has worked on himself, herself so much that because of the force of the Atmagnanam, because of the knowledge of the self that has been totally and fully internalized, there is no fear of spending time with oneself, because the I has been completely repatriated with Satchidananda. The Satchidananda Atma alone is recognized as the I. That consciousness, which is all knowledge, which is the only thing that is existent and which is endless, limitless, that alone is me. This ascertainment has taken place. And so, therefore, because of the force of this understanding, when one reverts from naturally the obsession with and the addiction to nama, rupa, etc., all drop. Once they drop, what happens? One naturally reverts to oneself, and a self that is placid, that is calm, and that is free of any guilt, hurt, and any painful feelings coming up, even if 5 minutes one spends in one's own company, that is not there at all for the yati. Tatani tateshu, very nice alliteration. Tatani tateshu tatvan dhyayan aste. Beautiful. So, Tatani Tateshu means at the banks of the rivers, the Yati stays. And what does the Yati, how do they spend their time? Do they go shopping? Do they have a pair of binoculars and they are bird watching? No. Are they are they having a picnic on the beach, on the riverside? No. What are they doing? Dhyayan aste, contemplating on their own nature, having lost interest in all the finite objects in the universe, because they much prefer their own company, which is focused on the infinite, which is in fact the infinite. So this is why they keep dhyayan here means they not meditating, contemplating. They are in constant contemplation, and this is the very beautiful verse. Very nice. So this is the activity of the Yatindra, and so this is the having withdrawn from the world, they meditate on the Tattva. Tattva means the essence of the Upanishads. Tattva, and the Tat means that. Tattva means Tattvam means thatness, and the Brahman is always referred to by the word Tat. Why? Because Brahman is not locally available. And since Brahman is not locally available, it feels remote. So, from the standpoint of the ignorant one, it is always Tat. Somewhere far away it is, and it has to be meditated upon, contemplated upon, like that. And so, it is called Tat, and the that. And the essence of that, when you make the word that into an abstract noun, we get the word Tattva, Tattvam. So tattvam dhyayan aste. Always the yati is in contemplation of the truths of the Upanishad, which happen to be non-separate from their own nature. And so they are constantly contemplating on their own nature. And when they contemplate on their own nature, they are contemplating on the truth of the Upanishad. There is no difference, because the yogi has become the Upanishad here. Okay, next one. आशावसनो मौनी नैराश्यालङ्कृतः शान्तः करतलभिक्षापात्रः तरुतलनिलयो मुनिर्जयति. Beautiful poetry. Here also there is a very nice, what is that, comparison going on. Asha vasanaha, and then nairashyalankritaha. So Asha Vasanaha, Asha here does not mean desire. Okay, we have to be careful here. Asha means the what is that called? Firmament, horizon. Means the space. Asha here means space, the firmament, the horizon, the directions. So Asha Vasanaha. Vasanaha means clothes. The one whose clothes is the horizon. The horizon is one's clothes. West is the top, east is the easterly direction are the pants, and the north is the topi, headdress, and then the south is angavastram. Means what? They don't need to wear anything. Yeah, this is what is called Digambara. So these Digambara saints in India, they don't wear anything. Dikkeva Ambaram. Yes, yeah. For whom for whom the clothes themselves are all the directions. The directions are the clothes for whom. This is another version here. Asha Vasanaha, clothed by the horizon. The horizon is my frock. The horizon is my dress. Meaning, there is no need to dress. Oh, but how can they go around naked? Well, this is something which is very interesting to discuss. How can they go around naked? Means, see, we have some kind of a prejudice against nakedness. There is shame, there is prejudice, and all these things. We don't like to see anybody else naked, much less we want to go out in the world naked. Both those things are abhorrent. No, nobody wants to do that. Why? Because there is body consciousness. There is body consciousness. And I am like this. And then we have been taught, the whole, all the, as children, the entire population has been socialized. Certain parts have to be covered. Says who? The society says. Certain parts have to be covered. For men and women, certain parts should never ever be exposed. And this is all the result of socialization, the results of growing up in a society where we learn this kind of a body consciousness. And since the body is taken to be the I, so therefore one says, I have to be dressed properly. Everything has to match. And there is a lot of pressure. See, if you wear clothes, think about it. They wear out, first of all. Then you have to go buy new ones, or you have to ask somebody to give it to you. And then after that, what? Then you have to wash them all the time. And then you have to read the labels. Don't use hot water. Yeah, one will say dry clean only. All this is a headache. It's a total headache. It's a total headache, because then you have to think of, okay, use mild soap, then you have to look for soap, then you have to wash, then you have to find a place to dry it, then you have to wait till it dries. And then if you're living in the city, then even if it dries, it becomes all wrinkled and crumpled. You can't go to work like that. Then you have to iron it, or have somebody iron it for you. What a headache. And then, if there is no body consciousness, I am this body, iti mindset is not there at all, then for whom is the clothes? Oh, for the society. Well, I am not in society. I am living somewhere in the forest. So why do I need to wear clothes? No, but the people may come to the forest. Well, it is their problem. It's not my problem. If they come into into this terrain where I am, then it is their problem. And so this is this is all a big headache. And you have to so without being a yogi also, you can have this kind of a privilege by joining a nudist colony or a nudist society in Western countries. Such things are there. And certain beaches, they are all near the beaches somewhere, and it'll say nudist beach in big block letters. It'll be put right at the entrance of the beach. And then you look at that board, and then you turn around. You turn around and not go there, because you don't want to see all that. And then so there is the policy of that beach is no clothes at all. So if you are ready to take off all the clothes, then you can go there. So but here this is not some kind of a contrived. The yati is not part of a nudist colony. Okay, the yati, because of their knowledge, this yati is free of the ahankara, that the free of the notion that I am as good as this body. The yati is free of the notion, and then so therefore there is no need for the clothes. And there is no need for all the preoccupation with the clothes. What shall I wear today? And how to iron, how to wash, how to dry? Where should I find a dry cleaner in the forest? All these things we don't have to worry about. So Asha Vasanaha and Mauni. Generally silent. Mauni is also a name for the sage, because who else keeps silent? So generally, who is fond of silence? And then Nairashya. Nairashya is an abstract noun of Nirasha. Nirasha and Nairashya. Nirashasya bhava. Nairashya. Nairashya, Nairashyena alankritaha. So the one who is wearing jewels. What is the jewels? The jewels of Nirasha. Nirasha generally means hopelessness. But here it means non-expectancy. Not hopelessness, non-expectancy. There is no expectancy here at all. So, Nairashya Lankritaha, adorned by non-expectancy, wearing the Chudamani, the crest jewel, the crown jewel of non-expectancy. And since there is not any thing that I want to eke out from the universe, I'm naturally peaceful, Shantaha, full of peace. And then what happens? Karatala Bhiksha Patraha, the one who has a begging bowl in the hand. And then where does he or she stay? Tarutala Nilayaha, whose home is the foot of the tree, the root of the tree. And Munihi, this kind of a sage, is the Jayati. Jayati means let there be victory. I salute that sage. Victory be to that sage. For this sage who is so self-contained that the clothes are for him or her, the directions themselves. We have saints like that. There was a saint in the 8th century, Akka Mahadevi, from Karnataka, and she didn't see the reason why to wear clothes. And of course, everybody made fun of her and pelted her with stones. And then some sages in the forest told her, at least grow your hair and cover yourself with it. So she grew her hair. She had very long, luscious hair, lot of hair. And so she covered herself with her own hair, but was walking without any clothes in the forest and composing all kinds of poetry, very beautiful poetry. And so, Tarutala Nilayaha Munihi Jayati, adorned by total freedom from desire. Nairashya Lankritaha Shantaha. Okay, next one. विजननदी कुञ्जगृहे मञ्जुलपुलिनैकमञ्जुतरतल्पे शेते कोऽपि यतीन्द्रः समरससुखबोधवस्तु निस्तन्द्रः. Again, very beautiful verse. Vijana means Janarahita, the place which is free of people, deserted place. So, Vijana Pradesha, a very deserted place. Nadi Kunja Grihe means on the bank of the river, which is kind of a little wooded area by the bank of the river, like a grove, overgrown with lots of trees, plants, creepers, etc. So this is where where does this person sleep? This is where the yati sleeps. The avadhuta sleeps in such a place. And then, if supposing they get bored of that, where will they go? Manjula Pulina Eka Manjutara Talpe. Talpam means bed. Or they make a bed out of the saw. Pulina means sand, a sand bank of the river. So sand bank, is that a word? I don't know. Sand bank, yeah. So an area where the soft river beach. So just like the ocean has a beach, there is also a little sandy beach, which is full of sand and silt by the side of the river. So they make that their bed. So the soft sand is the bed, And the soft sand, Manjula here means soft sand is the soft bed for the yogi. And though you don't have to worry, is it hard, is it soft, how to sleep here, nothing. It is already God made by bed. Shete. Shete means sleeps. Shing Shayane, second conjugation. So, Shete Kaha Api, somebody called the Yatindraha, the king of the yogis, sleeps. And here again there is a kind of a alankara. There is a very nice alankara, contrast alankara. And here sleeps what? Sleeps but is awake. Nistandraha, ever alert. Alert to what? Alert samarasa sukha bodha vastu. Ever alert to the vastu. Alert to the vastu. Vastu means the truth of oneself, the reality. The only thing that is worth being called a thing. Every other thing is really nothing. So the word vastu, which means a thing in Sanskritam, is really is only used for this Satchidananda Atma. Everything else is avastu, not a thing, because it depends on this I alone. So, and what is this I? This is the samarasa. Samarasa means unchanging. Unchanging sukha bodha. The sukha which is in the form of the bodha, that kind of a unchanging sukha. And to that unchanging sukha in the form of knowledge, one is ever awake. And then Shete means what? One is asleep to the duality. One is asleep to division. One is asleep to conflict. One is asleep to argumentation. One is asleep to krodha, kama, etc. All these things. One is totally asleep. But one is very much awake and playing in the truth of one's own nature as constantly happy and in the form of abiding in the form of this knowledge. Very nice. So, very nice sleeping and waking. It is like it is like that. I think it's the 70th verse or the 69th verse or something in the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. And there the comparison is made. And then या निशा सर्वभूतानां तस्यां जागर्ति संयमी यस्यां जागृति भूतानि सा निशा पश्यतो मुनेः. So for the seer, for the Muni, which is who is the seer of the truth, who is the liver of the truth, who is the seer of the truth, for this Muni, for this yogi, the yogi is awake. Where? In that night, in that which is night to all creatures, the yogi is awake. Oh, what happened, you poor thing? Did you drink coffee too late at night? That's why you're awake when everybody is sleeping? No, no, no. This is something else, completely different altogether. This is not about insomnia of the yogi. The yogi is not awake while everybody sleeps because of insomnia. It has to be taken again metaphorically. And then yasyam jagrati bhutani, in which daytime all the beings are awake. Then sa nisha pashyato munehe, for the yogi that is night and the yogi is fast asleep. So the yogi is fast asleep to that reality in which all the beings abide. And what kind of a reality is it? It is a finite reality. It is an existing transactional reality, an empirical reality, which of course folds into the absolute reality, has come out of the absolute reality, and is sustained by the absolute. And so here the beings are only awake to that empirical reality which they can objectify, which they can touch, which they can feel, which they can look at, etc., etc. They are asleep to the reality in which the jnani is awake. the reality of non-duality, the reality of having reverted from the objects of the senses and come back to the truth of oneself as Satchidananda. To that reality, the people are totally asleep. And unto that reality, the jnani is awake. So the 36th verse is like that, So that's why Shete and Nistandritaha, both in the same breath, it is used, not a contradiction. It is playing with the words here. Next one, more about the bed of the yogi. भूतलमृदु तरशय्यः शीतलवातैकचामरः शान्तः राकाहिमकरदीपः राजति अतिराजशेखरः कोऽपि भूतल मृदुतरशय्यः. So the soft earth is the bed of the yati. The soft clay is the bed of the yati. Soft, like little mound of dirt may be there. And then the yati just flattens it a little bit and is able to sleep on that soft sand. No, sand we saw earlier, but the soft earth, bhutala. And then that is the bed of the yati. Oh, but where is the air conditioning? The air conditioning is the cool breeze. That is the fan. So there is no air conditioning, there is a fan. Oh, where is the fan? I don't see. Is it a fan with a little, what is that? What is that called? Room fan? Not the ceiling fan, but the fan that stands on a base, and then you can set it to move and set different speeds, slow, fast, 1, 2, 3, etc. Is it that kind of a fan? A standing separate fan? No. The Bhagavan's wind, the wind of the breeze sent by Bhagavan, the cool breeze. Shitala Vataika Chamaraha. So that's the only fan that is there, is the cool breezes sent by Bhagavan whenever, if ever, doesn't matter when it comes, but whenever it is there, that is the fan. So we have the bedroom of the yogi described here. So what are all the things in the bedroom? Bed must be there. And what is the bed? The soft earth is the bed, and the fan is Bhagavan given, Vayu is the fan, and then Raka Himakara Deepaha. Then by the bed you need a lamp. It's just to read at night or whatever it is. So that is the moon. The moon is the personal lamp of the yati. Very nice. So this is the 37th verse, marks the description of the bedroom of the yati. So Rajati shines, Yati Raja Shekharaha. So the king of ascetics shines. Okay. So now we'll take a short 5-minute break. Don't go away. Just stretch and drink some water or whatever it is needed. And then we'll presently come back. All right. All the best. Om Tat Sat.